Hey there. You know how you've been thinking about exploring hands-on careers?
Yeah?
Well, buckle up,
Okay.
because today we're diving headfirst into the world of coach building, where artistry meets horsepower. Ever thought about building a car from scratch? Not just changing a tire, but
Right.
actually creating a car.
It's true. Forget assembly lines. We're talking about shaping, forming, and assembling vehicle bodies from the ground up. It's way more than just repairs. It's about design, precision, and a deep understanding of automotive engineering.
Okay, I'm getting images of custom hot rods and those sleek vintage cars you only see in museums.
You've got the right idea. Coach building is about bringing those unique visions to life, whether it's a bespoke car for a specific client, a one-of-a-kind custom build, or even breathing new life into a classic car.
So you're saying they're like the master tailors of the car world, crafting each vehicle with personalized detail.
That's a great comparison. Each project is a blend of technical skill and artistic vision. A coach builder's day-to-day work can involve anything from shaping sheet metal into those sleek curves you mentioned to welding frames, fitting interiors, and even getting into the nitty-gritty of engine work.
Wow, that's way more involved than I imagined. It must be pretty amazing to see a project through from start to finish.
Absolutely. There's a real sense of accomplishment in taking a design from concept to reality, especially when you're handcrafting so much of it yourself. But let's be real, it's not always glamorous. It can be physically demanding, often involving heavy lifting, working in awkward positions, and those hours can be long.
That makes sense. So where do coach builders typically work? Are we talking about bustling repair shops or something more specialized?
It varies. You might find coach builders in large automotive manufacturing plants, but it's more common to find them in smaller, specialized workshops, or even running their own independent shops. Each setting has its own vibe and challenges. For instance, a small workshop might offer more creative freedom, but less job security compared to a larger company.
Okay, so there's a trade-off there. But for someone who's really passionate about cars and has that creative spark, it sounds like the pros might outweigh the cons.
For the right person, absolutely. Think about it. You're not just fixing a car. You're essentially building dreams. You're bringing someone's vision to life, and that can be incredibly rewarding. But like any career, it's important to go in with a realistic view.
So let's talk about those realities. What are some of the pros and cons someone interested in coach building should really consider?
On the plus side, there's the immense satisfaction of creating something unique. Many coach builders say seeing a client's face light up when they deliver a finished project makes all the long hours worth it. And depending on your skill and reputation, there's definitely potential for high earning, especially if you specialize in high-end restorations or one-off designs.
Those are some pretty appealing perks, but you mentioned downsides too.
One of the biggest is that it is physically demanding. Long hours are the norm, not the exception, and the work itself can be tough on your body. There's also the potential for job instability, especially if you're working independently.
That makes sense. You're responsible for drumming up your own business then. Are there any other challenges that come to mind?
Well, you're working with potentially hazardous materials and tools, so safety is paramount. It's not just about being artistic. You need a serious understanding of safety protocols.
So safety first, creativity second, got it. But what about the actual skills? What does it take to become a coach builder? It sounds like you need way more than just a basic toolkit.
You're absolutely right. A good coach builder needs a blend of traditional craftsmanship and modern technical know-how. Metalworking is obviously key.
Yeah.
You've got to be comfortable shaping, forming, and joining metal parts. And I'm not just talking about a little hammering here and there.
Right.
We're talking techniques like English wheeling to shape those flawless curves and planishing for that smooth, perfect finish.
Okay, you've officially impressed me with those terms. I'm picturing some serious hands-on expertise here.
It's true. A lot of it is learned by doing, ideally through an apprenticeship.
Mm.
But you also need that solid theoretical understanding of vehicle body structures, different types of metals, and even modern composites.
So it's a blend of artistry and engineering like we talked about at the start. Now, I'm curious about breaking into this field. What would you say to someone listening who's thinking, all right, this is it. I want to give coach building a shot?
Well, there are a few different paths. A traditional apprenticeship is fantastic because you're learning on the job from experienced coach builders. It's all about getting your hands dirty and mastering the craft from the ground up.
That makes sense, especially with something as specialized as this. Are there other ways in, like vocational schools or maybe even specific degrees?
Definitely. Vocational programs can provide a structured introduction to the essential skills and knowledge. And while a specific coach building degree isn't common, there are automotive engineering or industrial design programs that can be incredibly valuable, especially if you're interested in the design aspects.
So there are options depending on how hands-on someone wants to be. Now, you mentioned apprenticeships. Are those hard to come by?
They can be competitive, but that's where networking comes in. Attending industry events, joining online forums dedicated to coach building. That's how you meet people, learn about openings, and maybe even find a mentor.
It's all about putting yourself out there. And I bet having a killer portfolio helps too, right?
Absolutely. As you gain experience, documenting your work is essential. Think of it as your resume, but way cooler, full of photos of those one-of-a-kind creations you've brought to life.
So let's say someone's got the skills, they're building their portfolio, they're making those connections. What's next? What does career progression look like in the coach building world?
It often starts with those entry-level positions, assisting experienced coach builders, gradually taking on more responsibility. From there, you might become a junior coach builder, managing smaller projects, maybe focusing on a specific area that interests you.
And eventually, you could run your own shop, become a master in your own right. Right.
Exactly. The possibilities are there. Some coach builders even become highly sought-after specialists, known for their incredible metal shaping skills or their expertise in restoring particular classic cars.
Okay, so the career path is anything but linear. It's full of potential twists and turns. Now, I have to ask, with all the talk about automation these days, how does coach building fit into that picture?
That's a question on a lot of people's minds, and it's something anyone considering this career should be thinking about. There's no doubt that automation is transforming the automotive industry.
So are robots coming for the coach builders' wrenches? Should people be worried?
That's the big question, isn't it? But there's the interesting thing. While automation might replace some of the more repetitive tasks, it also creates opportunities.
Okay.
Think about it. Those robots aren't going to program themselves.
You're saying it's more about adaptation than extinction.
Precisely. The coach builders who embrace new technologies, who learn how to operate those high-tech machines, they're not just going to survive, they're going to thrive.
So it's less about man versus machine and more about man with machine.
Exactly. Imagine a coach builder using a computer-guided cutting tool to shape a complex curve in a fraction of the time it would take by hand. Or using 3D scanning and printing to create custom molds for body panels.
Wow, that's next level stuff. They'd be blending centuries-old craftsmanship with cutting-edge tech.
And that's what makes the future of coach building so exciting. This field has always been about pushing boundaries, about finding that sweet spot between tradition and innovation. Automation is just the latest chapter in that story.
Okay, I'm convinced. Forget robots taking over the world. I'm now picturing robots helping coach builders build even cooler cars.
I like the way you think. And that's something we can all help with, right? RoleCatcher isn't just about finding a job, it's about exploring possibilities.
Totally. So for anyone listening who's feeling fired up about coach building, where should they start with RoleCatcher?
Their career guides are a goldmine of info. You can dive deep into what coach builders actually do, the skills they need, and the different paths you can take.
And once you've got a lay of the land, you can fire up RoleCatcher's job search tool and see what's out there, right?
Absolutely. They pull listings from all over the place, so you're not just limited to one website or job board. It's like having a personal assistant for your coach building career search.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. The artistry of crafting a car, the sweat and skill involved, the potential career paths, and even how robots fit into the picture. But for someone listening who's still deciding if this is the path for them, what's the one question they should ask themselves?
You mentioned at the start being drawn to hands-on work. So I'd ask, do you get more excited about restoring a vintage masterpiece to its former glory, or about building a one-of-a-kind vehicle that reflects your own design vision?
That's a great question to consider. It really gets to the heart of what makes coach building so unique, that balance between preserving automotive history and pushing the boundaries of design.
It's about finding your place within that world and seeing where your own skills and passions can take you. And who knows, maybe someday you'll be the one building those head-turning vehicles that define the future of automotive design.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. We hope this has given you a taste of what it takes to become a coach builder, and maybe even inspired you to explore this incredible craft a little further.
It's been a pleasure.
And remember, if you're ready to take your career exploration to the next level, be sure to check out RoleCatcher. Their tools and resources can help you navigate the path ahead. Until next time, keep those engines revving and never stop exploring.